How's it going, everyone? My name is J Ride Flips. Today, I want to talk about how to go full-time reselling on eBay principally and possibly other reselling platforms. Many people have this goal to be able to go full-time on eBay and reselling or make it a significant side income to support either their spouse or to work full-time at a job and then come home and make a significant amount of money through this side hustle. And those are the people that I want to be speaking to today. If you're catching this on the replay, thank you so much for coming in. And if you are here live, go ahead and ask any questions in the comments about reselling, eBay, thrift stores, yard sales. If you want to talk to me about stocks and finance and investments, really anything business related, you guys can go ahead and ask me in the comments and we will get to them. But I want to talk about going full-time on eBay and reselling in general because a lot of people ask me about how to do this. And it's a topic that we talk about a lot in this reselling world. There's a couple things that you need to do beforehand before going full-time on eBay, and I do not recommend just doing it. You cannot just jump in, especially if you have zero experience with sales in general, especially with e-commerce and especially with eBay. If you want to go full-time reselling on eBay, you have to do it incrementally and you have to do it in a smart way that covers all of the bases and it gets you to a point where you really understand what you're doing in this business. The first thing that I would do when it comes to anything, but especially going full-time on eBay, is working backwards. The very first thing that you have to do is you have to understand how much money you have to make principally to survive and then thrive and then also to do this full-time. So it's actually very important before you go full-time to understand what your bills are. And then we're going to talk about in just a second how much money you need to make to go full-time and cover those bills. For example, where I live, my rent and utilities equal about $3,000 per month. Sometimes it's as low as $2,750. Sometimes it's as high as $3,048, but it's about $3,000. Our grocery bill for just my wife and I, we eat very healthy and we definitely make sure that we're getting all the good stuff so that way we can live healthy, profitable, healthy and amazing lives. We eat about $400 in groceries per month. We have zero debt, so we have no car loans, no car payments to worry about. We don't have any of those things. Obviously, we have car insurance and gas. We also have car health insurance. Man, that word escaped me for a second. We have all these insurances and all of these things. Plus, we like to hang out and go on dates, and we like to buy things from Amazon and put them in our house. I've run over my budgets over and over and over again, and it seems like we spend about $5,500 a month, and that's including all of our hanging out and eating and expenses and everything. What I would want you guys to do to go full time is you need to have in my case, $5,500 times 6. Okay. So 6 times 5,000 is 30,000 plus another 500 times 6 is another 3,000. So I need $33,000 in my bank account before going full time. And for this to work, I like to shoot for double my bills per month at least. But because my bills are about $5,500, we'll just say 10,000. You need to be making $10,000 profit plus have $33,000 in your bank account before going full-time on eBay in this scenario. If you run through your budget and you only pay, maybe you live in Ohio or Alabama or Louisiana where cost of living is significantly cheaper, and maybe your rent or mortgage is only $600 a month, and you don't have car payments like myself, or maybe you do, whatever your bills are, you need to add all of those up, including how much you spend on food and gas and basketball games and shoes and shirts and everything. Get that to a solid number per month. Really understand what your expenses are. Times that by 6 for a liquid fund. Get to that number, and then also be making more than double your bills to sustain that. Now, you're going to be needing to work at your full-time job to be able to save, in my case, I'm just going to, moving forward, I'm going to say 6 months emergency fund. In order to save up to 6 months emergency fund, you're going to need to work full-time at your job, and you can't quit it yet. You may hate it, but when it comes to going full-time on a side hustle, there usually requires a season of sacrifice to get there. What I would recommend doing is working all of the hours that you can at your job, and then coming home and working on your side hustle and doing what it takes to build it until you can get to those key metrics. Now, the only way that you're going to be able to understand if you're making your $10,000 or $11,000 per month in this case is you have to understand your numbers. What you're going to do is you're going to go to your seller hub, and you need to understand what your average sales price is. This is very important. You also need to know other factors in order to see what you need to make per item, how many you need to sell per day, how many you need to sell per month to go full time. So if you go into my seller hub right now, my average sales price historically is $40. Okay. So I know that I generate $40 per sale every sale. Sometimes I sell something for $16 shipped. Sometimes I sell something for $428 shipped. But if you average all of my sales out, you get my average sales price, which right now is $41.13, but we're just going to call it 40 for this example. You have $40 here. My average, and I have all these numbers in front of me, my average fees is 14.1%. Okay. So my average category fees are about just under 12% because I sell a lot of digital cameras and things like that, and they have lower fees than clothing and other items. Each category is different. And then on top of that, I also promote at 2.1%. Not all of my sales are sold through promotions, and some of them are. It usually accounts for about 1%. So my average fees are 14.1%. So we're going to take 40, and we are going to divide that by 0.141, which gives us $5.64. So if we sell something for $40 and then we minus $5.64, we're left with $34.36. It's not super prepared for this. Let's see. I've got my notebook right here, and then I have a pen right here. Okay. Hope this is informational for you guys. So if my average sales price is $40, you're minusing 14.1% for fees. This is all in your seller hub as well, which is $5.64, which brings us to $34.36. Now, you can also find this information in my seller hub of how much it is to ship your average item. I have mine in Pirate Ship. Okay, my average cost to ship something is $6.87. Okay, I ship a lot of things out for $4. I ship a lot of things out for $31. My average is $6.87. So we're going to minus $6.87. Now we're down to $27.49. Okay. Now you're going to minus your cost of goods. There's a lot of different ways that you can track this number. You can keep receipts. You can have a business credit card, and you can itemize and subtract and divide it. Or you can keep picking up consistently the same number, the same-ish items, and you can make that an average as well. Just like I have an average fees of $5.64, an average shipping of $6.87. If you buy 1,000 items per month and you're consistently showing that, okay, every time I go to the thrift store, I can add up the numbers every single month, divide them by the number of items that I bought, and my average number for my business is $5.12 is my average cost of goods. Okay, so we're going to minus $5.12, $22.37. Okay, that is my net profit right there. Okay, you're going to minus your eBay fees, your shipping fees, and your cost of goods. Also, you're going to have to average, okay? When you see your sales price in eBay, it also shows you how much the customer paid for taxes, sales tax. You never see that money hit your bank account, so you have to minus that out as well. Typically, your tax rate is going to be about 6.25%. California and Seattle is way above that. Some states are free, but you have to average that out as well. So we're going to say 0.6%. So we're going to times 40 by 0.0625%. That's an extra $2.50. So we're going to minus $2.50 as well from 2237. Minus 250. Now we are left with $19.87. Congratulations. You now know what your net profit per item is. Now, you're also going to have to minus out bubble wrap and boxes and gas and overhead if you have it, all of that stuff as well, okay? The majority of you trying to go full-time isn't going to be paying for a warehouse or a storage unit, but you will have to pay for gas. If it's already on your way home from your job, you really don't have to factor that in because you were already going that way anyway, right? Things like that. These numbers actually are much, 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 much smaller than you think they are if you are a pessimist by nature. And a lot of us humans, unfortunately, are. But we always think, oh, all the taxes and fees and gas and all of that is just so expensive. Now, poly mailers are 2 cents each. Okay, you can get all of your boxes from dumpsters. Your printer does not, you don't even need a printer. You can just use a QR code on your phone, use it at the USPS location. Ton of different ways to save money in this business, especially in the beginning. It's important to do so, okay? But our net profit is $19.87. You're also going to have to minus out your employees and your warehouse and all that stuff. But this is our net profit, $19.87. Now, we have to calculate what our store sell-through rate is, okay? So my store right now has 2,715. What's my actual store size? It is listings active is 2,714, okay? I have 2,714 listings in my eBay store. And my sales over the last 90 days, I have 922 sales, okay? I just barely came out of, how do I resell? Thanks for being here, Carrie. I just barely got out of below standard and my sales took a crack for that for sure. And I've been listing significantly more than I have been. So my store is growing very quickly in anticipation of moving. If you guys look around me right now, it's utter chaos. I have so many mouses and CDs, and I have thousands of eyeglass frames, things like that to list, okay? So my sell-through rate on a 90-day basis on a store value is typically at historically around 70%. Right now, it is significantly less than that. Let's see what it is right now. We're going to take 922, and we're going to divide that by 2,714. Right now, I have a 34% sell-through rate. Okay, don't worry. By Christmas, by Christmas of this year on eBay alone, I'll probably have about a 60% sell-through rate. But we're going to use these numbers, right? So right now, I have a 34% sell-through rate. And if I continue to pick up the same items and I continue to keep putting the same similar items in my store, I will accurately be able to predict how much money I make per day, per week, per month, per year, okay? So we have 922 sales every 90 days during this 90-day period, right? So that means over the last 90 days, I've sold 10.25 items per day on eBay, which is by far the smallest number I have seen in almost my whole time doing this. I immediately started selling 10 items per day every single day, like month 3. Okay, so I'm selling 10.25 items per day, and my average profit is $19.87. So we're going to take this number and we're going to times it by $19.87. That is how much profit I'm making per day, $203 times 7, $1,424 a week times 4, about $5,700 a month plus like 2 or 3 more days. So we're going to add $600. So currently right now I'm making $6,300 a month. So if you took away all my YouTube and all my Facebook and all my content, I would be plus $800 a month just from my most terrible eBay sales over the last 2.5 years, which is great. I'm paying for my lifestyle with eBay alone. I'm also making about that much on Poshmark and Mercari combined. I'm selling like 6 items a day on Mercari. I'm selling 4 items a day on Poshmark, and then I'm also selling like 1 a day on Bonanza. And then I've also been selling a ton on Dibdit and shopcommons.com, but we can talk about that later. Right now we're talking about going full-time reselling, okay? So with these numbers, I know that I am making, we're just going to round up 13 cents. We are making $20 a sale, okay? So if you did your numbers and you need to make $2,000 a month to cover your bills, you have 2,000. We're going to divide that by $20. You need to make 100 sales. How many days are there in a month? 30.412. But we're just going to say there's 30 days a month. You need to make 3 1/3 sales per day. Okay. So all you need to do is on Monday sell 4 items, on Tuesday sell 2, on Wednesday sell 3, then sell 3, then sell 4, then sell 1, then sell 5. You just need to sell 3.33 items per day, and you will make enough money per month to cover your bills. Now you need to double that number. So you need to just get to 6.66 sales. So we'll just say 7 sales per day to be able to make double your monthly bills and still have all of the money in your bank account. So let's go through these numbers again. Let's say that you live in Columbus, Ohio. Your cost of living isn't ultra expensive, but it's not super cheap. So let's say that your monthly bills are $3,500 a month. I'd say that's pretty accurate. I lived in Ohio for quite a while, and as a single guy, my life cost me like $1,300 a month, maybe less. But I was just a single guy, didn't have a family, right? So let's say $3,500 a month. So if you have $3,500, okay, my sell-through rate is at the lowest it's ever been, so this is pretty good. A lot of people have a pretty slow sell-through rate. So let's say you have a 35% sell-through rate, and you have 3,000 items in your store. Okay, so we're going to take 3,000. We're going to divide that total by 90. That means that you are putting in, to maintain 3,000, if you were selling 33 and listing 33, then you would stay the exact same, right? Okay, so you have 3,000 items in your store. You divide that by 90, and then you times that by 0.35, which is your sell-through rate, okay? That's 11.66. Now, if you times that by $20, you're making $233. Okay, hold on. Let me back up a little bit. I just confused myself a little bit because I was looking at the chat. Okay, here we go. We need to make $3,500 a month, right? So if we have $3,500, we need to make $116 per day, okay? We need to make $116 Monday through Sunday, every single day of the week. Now, if we know that our average profit is $19.87, I'm just going to make that $20. We need to sell 6 items per day, 5.833. If we have a 35% sell-through rate, if we times that number by 90, and then we times this number by 35, our sell-through rate, that means we need to have a store size of 1,500 items to sell 6 items per day. If we want double our bills, then we need to have 3,000 items selling at a sell-through rate of 35%. Now, if you want to make $3,500 and you have a 50% sell-through rate, then that's going to be significantly easier. You have 3,500 divided by $20 divided by 3,500 divided by 30. You need $116 a day. Divided by $20 is 5.8. Times 90 is 525, and then divided by 50, you only need 1,050 items in your eBay store to be able to do so. The real question is, where do you find so many high-throughs? Watch my channel. That's all I talk about on this channel, is how to find fast sell-through items. Okay, so if you want to go full-time, first, you have to work your butt off. You have to stay at your current job and grind away at that, and then come home and work really hard in your eBay business and get to a point where you have 6 months of your saving, of your bills saved away. And then you need to make double those bills every single month to sustain this. And as you keep going into full-time, you're going to make more and more and more money. And I hope that you guys stay disciplined and don't increase your lifestyle to where you have more and more bills. If you just keep making more and more money and your lifestyle stays relatively the same, you can invest all of your money and then you can really become wealthy, right? So let's go off what my numbers usually are, which is 70% sell-through rate. I am changing up my business model a little bit, and I'm going to have a bigger foundation of glasses, eyeglass frames that historically have like a 35% sell-through rate for me. And then I'm also going to be focusing on ultra fast sell-through rate items. So I believe that my sell-through rate will be 60%, right? So when I get up north, by Christmas, I will have, I believe, 4,000 active items, okay? So we have 4,000 divided by 90, and then we're going to times this number by my sell-through rate of 60. I'm going to be selling about 26.66 items per day. If I can keep up my current numbers and make $20 profit, then I'll be making $533 per day times 30. I'll be making $16,000 per month profit. I'm also going to have employees and things like that, so that number will drop a little bit, okay? But if we have 40,000 divided by 90, and then times my sell-through rate, and then times how much money I'm making per, how much I'm doing ASP, which it will be $40, then I will be making $32,000 in revenue per month. And then after my expenses, I will have a net profit of 50%, $16,000. Then from that $16,000, I will pay for employees. I will also pay for poly bags and all that good stuff. So my profit from eBay will be probably around $12,000 per month. Then that I will also at that same time have Mercari pumping. I will also have Poshmark pumping. And then of course I have all of my content, my affiliate links, all that good stuff. So even though I went below standard and my store has been pretty wrecked from it, we're doing great. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the store is looking like by Christmas, and I'll keep you guys updated by that. But this is what it takes to go full-time, okay? These are the numbers. Now you have to understand your personal abilities, your environment, and your attitude, okay? If you have a crappy attitude, you're probably not gonna go full-time on eBay. If you are a pessimist and a conspiracy theorist by nature, going full-time on eBay is going to be very difficult for you, okay? So now you have these numbers in mind. Go to your seller hub. If your average sales price is $23, this is going to be much more difficult. And if your sell-through rate is even lower than 35%, it's going to be even more difficult. But you have these numbers now that you can go do that. So this is a pretty popular store that I've come across. Okay, 10,000 items. But let's just do one more example, and then I'll get into how to find these items and how to actually go full time. Right. So A lot of people have 10,000 items in their store. So we're going to take 10,000. We're going to divide that by 90. Okay. If you have a sell-through rate, and the way that I do sell-through rate on this store basis is you just take how many items you have sold divided by how many you have listed over a 90-day period. Okay. You guys can complicate that or make it even simpler if you want. This is just how I do things. If you have 100 listed and you have 100 sold in 90 days, that's a 100% store sell-through rate. If you would like to throw in other equations and numbers, you can do so. But this is what I'm using for this math, right? Then you're going to take your sell-through rate of, a lot of people have in this a 10% sell-through rate. This is usually like a media store, right? Like just all cassettes and CDs. You are going to need to have a store of 100,000 items. Oh, shoot. Okay. Wow, that's tough. All right. You have okay. You have 10,000 items, right? And you have a 10% sell-through rate. That means you're going to be selling 11 per day. And if your ASP is $23, your fees are probably going to make up 20% of your, because that 30 and 40 cents goes a lot longer way when your ASP is down. And the shipping eats into your cost a lot more when your ASP is that low. So you're probably looking at about 65% of $23. So 23 times 0.65, $14.95. $23 minus $14.95. Your average profit is $8.05. And then your cost of goods in this model is usually only around 10 cents, which is good. So we're going to minus 10 cents. So you're at $7.95, right? So you're selling 11 per day. 11 times $7.95 is $87 per day, times 30 is $2,600, $2,623. If your bills are only $1,300, then you can have an ASP of 23 times 10,000 with a 10% sell-through rate. But if you don't, do 100,000 high sell-through rate items exist? Yeah, I mean, they sure do. They sure do. You can get 100,000 AirPods. There are way more than 100,000 AirPods in this world, and they sell the day you list them. Just figure out how to get those, and then all of your questions, money main, Rahim, is over. Okay, now you have these numbers. You can go and you can actually see how to go full time. How do we actually find these items? First, well, I don't even think we're going to get to questions. Hopefully we do. First, you have to analyze yourself, and you have to be very frank with yourself and very real and understand who you are, what abilities you have, how willing you are to change yourself to become the best version of yourself, okay? When you first start, you are going to say, I can't find items that have more than a 10% sell-through rate, or I can't find items that have more than a 20% sell-through rate. And with all the love and empathy that I have in my being, you can't find those because you do not have that skill and ability to do so yet. It's not your area, and it's not the government. It's not eBay. It's not your thrift stores. It's not your parents or your siblings or your children or your spouse. It's you. And I mean that with as much love as I can muster. You have not yet acquired the skills necessary to find these items. The best thing that you can do to improve your ability to find these items is to better yourself, okay? You can come to my channel on eBay, and you can go to Tech and Sports channel and Daily Refinements channel. There's a lot of really great channels that will teach you how to sell on eBay. If you don't love yourself, and if you don't get up before your body wants to in the morning, and if you just don't incrementally become a better person, you're not going to be able to make a ton of money on eBay. What I recommend instead of watching my channel is to read 5 books. They're going to teach you how to be a better person. They're also going to teach you how to have a better relationship with your finances and your money. First one I want you to read, it's like 70 pages, maybe less. The Richest Man in Babylon. Basically, that teaches you get on a budget and put away at least 10% of your money and have that money work for you, okay? The next book you're going to want to read is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is going to teach you how to actually make that budget and not care what other people think and become a millionaire. The next book you're going to want to read is Atomic Habits. This is going to teach you how to be disciplined and how to actually make changes in your life that are going to benefit you now and in the future. Fourth book I want you to read is How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is going to teach you how to network and actually get the items necessary to have an awesome business. And the fifth one is 7 Habits of Highly Effective Human Beings. This is going to teach you just how to be a freaking awesome person who just gets crap done every single day, on a good day, on a bad day, on an amazing day, and on a gruesome day. It also teaches you how to just get everything done and go hang out with your wife and your kids or your husband or your parents or whatever you want to do, okay? Those 5 books will teach you much more than I have to offer you, promise. I'm getting really philosophical and tangent here, but we live in a society where we need answers right now, and we need to be constantly stimulated by our phones and by YouTube and by audio. I promise you, listening to these books on YouTube or listening to my channel on YouTube will be beneficial for you, but it is significantly more beneficial for you to go to a very quiet place without your phone and read. Okay? Turn off your notifications. Let the people important to you know you're not available for 20 minutes unless it's an emergency, and just read a book. I recommend waking up before everybody else in your household and just reading for 20 minutes, but I'm also not a morning person. Read those books, okay? You also need to love yourself. I know many of you didn't come here today wanting to hear a preacher or to hear someone tell you that you need to be your best friend and motivate yourself. You came here for eBay hacks, right? Well, that's not going to help you go full-time on eBay. You need to love yourself before you can rip yourself down, before you can understand your weaknesses and your strengths and where your gaps are standing between you and making money online, okay? If you hate yourself, if you're mean to yourself, if you blame yourself, when you rip yourself down to see what your deficits are in this business, it's not going to be beneficial to you because you're already mean to yourself. You already tell yourself you can't. You already tell yourself you're a loser. And then when you actually look in the mirror to say, what do I need to change to actually go full time? It's not going to be beneficial for you. I definitely recommend holding on to the people closest to you, surrounding yourself with amazing people that have your back, and then letting them know how important they are to you. And if they aren't the best people in your life, sometimes the hardest part about being an adult is choosing who you spend time with, as hard as it can be. You need to love yourself. Once you start to love yourself, you'll actually be able to say, hey, I'm not the best at this. And I'm not tearing myself down and being negative. I'm actually just identifying weaknesses that I have in my life, and I'm going to make necessary changes to do that. And because you've read the book Atomic Habits, you'll know how to actually make those changes. In society, I talk about this all the time, and I'm going to talk about it again. In society, if I say Paul Morales is in the chat right now. If I say Paul Morales is intelligent, if I say he is smart, if I say he is attractive, and if he is a good business owner, I'm considered a good person because I'm reaching out and saying that he has all those great qualities. The second that I say that about myself, for some reason, I'm a bad person. That is so backwards. It is a lie that I don't know who constructed and fed to all of us, but it is a terrible lie. For some reason, when I say that I am smart and that I am intelligent and I'm a good business owner, I am cocky and arrogant. And I train myself every day that if I am arrogant, I'm a bad person. So instead of telling myself I'm appreciated and I'm awesome, I tell myself, don't love yourself. Don't let other people see yourself. see you loving yourself, because that's what bad people do. That's what arrogant people do. We are trained over and over and over again to put ourselves down. When you can actually love yourself, that's when I love myself, guys. I am the coolest person I know. I am so freaking dope. Okay. I am, you know how they say like the happiest people on the outside are the saddest people on the inside? That is not true with Jake Ryder. Promise you guys. I live an awesome life. Happy to be here. It's because I've allowed myself to love myself. I've surrounded myself with people who love me and want the best for me. Compliment yourselves. You guys, you 200 people in the chat right now came here trying to better your life, and you should applaud yourself for that. You should give yourself credit for that. Okay. I may or may not be doing a good job at helping you guys better your life, but you guys came to a live chat trying to learn about how to become better salesmen on eBay. Okay. Pat yourself on the back. Once you love yourself, you have to sit down and you have to identify what your weaknesses are. Okay. When I first started this, I didn't know anything about sell-through rate. I didn't know anything about shipping. I didn't know anything about the benefits, the pros and the cons of free returns and free shipping and all of that stuff. So one thing that I did is I bettered myself and I bettered my knowledge of what items actually sell, how to ship them in the best manner possible so it gets to my customer quick and it still makes me money and it doesn't eat into my profit. I learned how to create good titles and all that good stuff. Okay. The number one problem that most eBay resellers have, some people don't. Some people have amazing sourcing outlets and they have too many good items. Okay. That's rare though. Most people, the biggest struggle in this eBay business is finding quality items to sell on eBay. That is your fault. If you can't find good items to sell on eBay, that is your fault. Everything around me that I showed you guys earlier, the 2,000 eyeglass frames that I have, all of these computer mouses and all of those CDs, all of those, every single one of those 4,000 items were bought on eBay. They did not come from St. George, Utah, where I live. If I lived in New York, Los Angeles, Utah, Louisiana, Kentucky, Omaha, doesn't matter where you live, you could have bought those items as well. Right now, you just don't have the skills necessary to do that. But if you love yourself and if you can identify that you don't have that skill yet, you can acquire it through patience and knowledge. Okay. The biggest thing holding people back from sourcing is their predisposition to be negative and to think that they can't find good items. And a lot of this comes from inflation and raising prices at thrift stores. Okay. I know a lot of people that would get, I hear this on YouTube and amongst my friends and Facebook and Reddit all the time. And I'm not picking on Kevin the Commonwealth Picker specifically, but he has said this. He said a lot of you guys say you used to go to the thrift store and you could buy Levi's for $2, but now they're $8. A lot of Levi jeans sell for $40 plus shipping. Whether you get them for $2 or $9, you're still making a ton of money. Does it hurt that you got them 6 years ago for $2 and now you have to pay $9? Yes. But turning $9 into $40 plus shipping is an incredible business. A lot of billionaires are jealous of that profit margin for products. If you can turn $8 plus shipping and fees into 40, and you can do that 20 times per day, 90 times per day, 7,000 times per day, you'll make so much money. Okay. A lot of the times we hold ourselves back because we used to get things for 50 cents, but now they're $4. Or we used to get things for $4, but now they're $9. Or we used to get things for $9, but now they're $15. If you used to buy something for $7 that sold for $60, but now you're paying $15 and it still sells for $60, Yes, you're paying more for your cost of goods, and yes, shipping on that item has gone up, but there is still so much margin on that item. I know it's less than it used to be, but it's still so much. A lot of people that tell me they can't find anything in their thrift stores, I call them out on it, and I go to their thrift stores and I find all of these items and I do the math for them. And I said, why did you not pick up this item that will sell in 3 weeks or less and will make you a profit of $19? Like, why didn't you pick that up? And they usually can't tell me why, and it's usually because they have turned themselves away from that. Okay. So I think it's very important to remove your predisposition of negativity and conspiracy theory. Okay. Another thing that's going to help you with sourcing is not having the pride of not looking things up. I don't know where this comes from, but a lot of people say it's cheating to look things up in the thrift store. You couldn't do that 15 years ago. Okay, well, it's not 15 years ago. If you look up items in the thrift store, you're letting your competition get ahead of you and find more items. Yeah, well, you're not going to pick up 7 items that have low sell-through rate and have low profit. You're just going to pick up 2 items that have a fast sell-through rate and a high profit. I think that you should look up every single item that you think is valuable. Okay, don't blind buy anything, even if you've sold it in the past. My clearest example of this is Google Nest. When I first started reselling 2.5 years ago, one of the first things that I started to have a lot of success with, shout out to Osborne to Thrift. He got me onto cameras and remote controls and all that stuff, was Google Nests. Google Nests are these like mesh little electrical units that extend Wi-Fi. The first few of those that I found, a pack of 3, which they usually came in, sold for $120 plus shipping, and each individual one sold for $35 plus shipping. And I was finding them anywhere from $4 to $7 and selling them for $35 plus shipping. 6 months later, they were only selling for $29, but that was great too. Today, they sell for $16 free ship. And if I'm not looking up items and I'm just blindly buying, I'm losing a lot of money. $16 free shipping and you buy it for $7, especially if it has a slow sell-through rate. Those used to have 200 listed, 400 sold. Now they have 700 listed, 180 sold. It's a terrible thing to buy now. And I'm glad that I continue to look things up. This Logitech mouse right here. Okay, here. This Microsoft mouse, it's the Microsoft 1008. It's the wireless optical mouse 2.0. This has a receiver to it that I don't have. So I'm selling this as mouse only, no receiver. Sells for $10 plus shipping. This one, same situation. Also needs a receiver. Different Microsoft mouse, sells for $40 plus shipping. I don't pick up every single Microsoft mouse I find. Every time I find a Microsoft mouse, I look up the model number and I see the price and the demand for it. And if the price and the demand aren't there for it, I don't buy it. If the price and demand are there for it, I do buy it. Look up every item you come across and you will be surprised how slow something you thought would sell quickly goes. Look up every item you find and you'll be surprised how much you can get for something that you thought was worthless. Who here thinks that remote controls are worthless? Some of you that have been watching me for a while now know that they are not. Who would have thought that a remote control like this sells for $80 plus shipping in used condition? I sure thought that remotes were worthless because you can get universal ones at Walmart for $8, yet that one's selling for $80 plus shipping. And I've had thousands of examples that sell for $10, $25, $50. It's important that we keep looking up every single item we find. Another thing that you can do to increase your sourcing is by watching other people who are successful at this, okay? Again, going back to you're allowed to be proud of yourself. I'm good at this job. And I show you guys for free on Facebook and YouTube and other platforms what I'm selling, the exact model number, how much they sell for, and how to find them yourselves. Watch YouTube What Sold videos and look for those exact model numbers and like items. And when you find the like items and the exact model numbers, what do? Look them up. Look them up and see if they are continuously selling. Look them up and see if you can find this Logitech here. This Logitech sells for $6 shipped in used condition. This Logitech sells for $70 plus shipping, both used. Has nothing to do with, I mean, it has a lot to do with the brand, but that brand, same brand, can sell for $6 or $70. A lot of people always say like, hey, should I just pick up every single Dyson that I find? And I say no. Pick it up and then look up the model number. And then if the market tells you it's a fast selling item and for a decent profit, then pick it up. If the market tells you that there's no demand for the item, don't be emotional that you finally found a Dyson, but it's the wrong Dyson. Don't pick it up. Keep looking up items every single day because a lot of items go down in value, a lot of items go up in value, and a lot of items that you think are worthless are worth a ton, and a lot of items that you think are worth a ton are worthless. You would think one of the greatest icons of all time, Michael Jackson, with the 25th anniversary gold edition CD would be worth a lot of money, and you might pay $7 for it, but you don't actually look it up. And then when you look it up, you see that it has a pretty bad sales rate. It sells for $8 shipped. And the shipping on it is going to be about $4.88. And if you paid $4 for it, guess what? You just lost $1. Lost like $2.50. It's really important to look things up. It's also important to watch people that have more experience or are just inherently better at something than you. This is my secret to everything. I just ask smarter people than me questions, and I watch what they do, and I also do that. And it's awesome. It makes me a lot of money. I advise that you guys do the same. Now, you need to go to your thrift stores. You need a little bit of luck, okay? Even though I consider myself to have a strong mindset and I just don't give up on things when I've seen other people be successful at them. When I first did retail arbitrage, the very first 3 times, it just didn't work for me because I hadn't acquired the skills necessary to find those items. And a lot of the items just weren't there. Maybe another reseller got to me first, or maybe the margin had been swallowed up on some of them. But the first 3 times I went, I just wasn't successful, and I just stopped going for months. Then one day I decided to go back to TJ Maxx again, and I got very, very lucky that Jacqueline Cosmetics is going out of business. Jacqueline Cosmetics. Jacqueline is this influencer on Instagram and TikTok, and she built a following, and then she monetized that audience and started a full-on makeup brand. And that makeup brand did well during COVID and is now going out of business. So she still has a lot of loyal customers to that brand, but overall, the brand is not selling. They can't sell it at Kohl's. They can't sell it at Dillard's. They can't sell it at Ulta. So all of these companies are liquidating all of this, and they threw it into TJ Maxx and Ross, where I was able to find a ton of it for $2 and $3 and $4. And a lot of it I have sold for $20 and $25 and $30 because these really loyal customers can't find it anywhere else except for eBay and Amazon. That's where I come in. I got extremely lucky, and I was able to find those. And then I'm like, well, I'm already right here. I have no idea what MAC is, but let's see if that has any margin on it. They want $9 for MAC at TJ Maxx. That's ridiculous. Look it up. Oh, this sells for $37 on eBay. Okay, I'll grab this MAC too. And then I started to learn about Olay. Most Olay products do not sell for a profit in the retail arbitrage game, but some of them do. Same with Garnier Fructis. It's kind of embarrassing how much I'm learning about makeup. Never thought I would be in these shoes. But it takes a little bit of luck, but it just takes determination and just keep going and going and going and going. If you go to your thrift stores or if you try to do retail arbitrage and you fail the first 3 times, welcome to reality. And if you don't go for a 4th time, it sounds really mean and brash, but you're the failure. And I really mean that with love. If you fail 3 times in a row, but you go a 4th time, you are a winner. And if you don't go that 4th time, you're a failure. And I was a failure for a few months. I decided to go to a 4th time. Now I almost make more money on Mercari and Poshmark than I do on eBay because makeup sells extremely well over there. It's awesome. Okay. It's really important to just keep going. So let's kind of do a quick recap. You got to understand what your bills are. I definitely recommend getting out of all consumer debt as fast as you can. And then building up 6 months while still working at your full-time job. Or let's say that your husband or wife already works full-time and you don't work. I would actually recommend going and getting a 40 an hour week job somewhere and doing eBay on the side. Okay. Make actual money from that 40 an hour week job and then add on the side this coming in if you have time for it. I know that every single situation is different. For example, my wife and I are about to start having kids. She still works right now because she loves working. Once we have kids, she's going to dial that back significantly. She's going to continue to, she's an ex-D1 athlete. She's freaking ripped. She has a bachelor's degree in sports science, and she's CIS trained, so she's a personal trainer. She's still going to do that on the side because she loves working. But like in that situation, she can't just go get a 40 an hour job plus do eBay on the side, right? But if you're in a position to do that, I would go get a job, part-time or full-time, and actually make some money and then do reselling on the side and build that up until you have 6 months savings and until you are making double your bills through eBay and Mercari and Poshmark. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have a deep look at yourself, learn to love yourself, actually do work to better yourself by reading books and coming to YouTube and doing all of this stuff. 25 hours wouldn't hurt either. Exactly. I think 25 hours is great. 25 hours is like the perfect like part-time, and I don't want this to get political, but because of Obamacare, you like can't get to 32 hours, and so like employers won't even really give you more than that in a lot of cases anyway, because they don't want to give you benefits. So yeah, anywhere from like 25 to 30 hours is great. Then what you're going to do is you're going to learn to love yourself, and you're going to get better at this process. And then you're going to identify what's wrong with you, why you can't get 4,000 items that have a $20 profit off of eBay. Because I'm doing that, and there's other people that are doing that and doing even more. Then you're going to go out and you're going to do all these things, and you're going to get better and better and better over time. And that is the most important and most frustrating ingredient of all, is time. Time sucks, man. It's the worst. You don't just go from $400 a week to 4,000. It takes time. It usually takes months. Sometimes it takes years. But if you love yourself and you keep bettering yourself and your opportunities, then you're going to get there a lot quicker than you would have anyway. I know that I've been going for 53 minutes straight. Holy cow, this is nuts. There's going to be so many questions to get to. If you don't learn anything from me, but you do learn one thing, what I want you to learn is that it is okay. 2 parts. It is okay not to be okay. And then it is also okay to love yourself. And sometimes, and I didn't understand this when I was younger, but I do understand it now, I thought that you had to be okay all the time. I thought that you always had to overcome. I thought that you always had to fake it until you make it and put a smile on your face. And then I realized, and I don't want to get too graphic here, but I realized that some people are psychologically traumatized from their dad or from their mom. That every single time they want to compliment themselves, they hear they're amazing, but very hard on them mother saying, that's it. I realized that some of you out there have a father that all you wanted to hear your whole life was, "I'm proud of you." And he never gave that to you. I've learned that a lot of you guys have had experiences that make it so you're not okay, and it's okay to not be okay. But then you can build from that and begin to love yourself, and then you can really change your life. I don't know. As you guys can see, there's a lot of people that aren't. That they have the pessimistic mindset, and they, I don't know. It's really important to love yourself, and then to love yourself enough to tell yourself that you're the problem sometimes. Once you can understand what your deficits and your weaknesses are, then you can really start to make a ton of money in your business. But I don't know. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to love yourself. Tell yourself you're awesome. Tell yourself you're good at this. Reward yourself and praise yourself for doing what you know you should do. And you make a lot of money. So, 55 minutes later, let's get to some questions. And yes, let's see here. We'll put this. Chuck, Mormon magic underwear. He's referring to garments. I wear garments on my top and bottom of my body because of my religion. And for some reason, he feels the need to bring that up for some reason. Let's see. Can you specifically know why other states are harder to source items? Jose Lopez, can you be specific why other states are harder to source items than your state? I just don't believe that it's harder to source. Like I said, I've gotten 4,000 items over the last week on eBay.com on the internet, and it didn't matter if I was in Utah or California or New York or anywhere, right? There are always different challenges in every single situation in every single state, and a lot of times it comes down to competition. One of our biggest competitors is the thrift store. Some thrift stores are competitive with pricing, others are ludicrous with pricing. A lot of our other competition is just other resellers. Some of them get to the stores before you do and buy everything before you have a chance to. Some people sit on the couches and wait for items to come out. You have to beat them. A lot of times our area, the items in our area are very dependent on a ton of different things. Cost of living. The reason why we're successful on eBay is because we're able to take items from a local market and sell them on a global market. So if you go to a thrift store, you might get 1,500 people to go through your store in a 24-hour period. But on eBay, you can get 340 million people look at an item in under a month, right? So the reason why we're able to make money on eBay is because we have 300 million people looking at our items as compared to 1,500. And you're only going to be able to get maybe $6 when you have 1,500 people in Louisiana looking at your item, but you can get 50 for it on eBay. When you live in Los Angeles or you live in New York, where there's more people and the cost of living is higher, if you make $32,000 a year in Louisiana and you see a Bose subwoofer for $20, you might say, "Oh my gosh, that is so expensive." But if you're in California and you make $197,000 a year and you see a Bose subwoofer in a thrift store for $65, you might think to yourself, "Holy cow, that's cheap." And that's because different markets demand different prices. And sometimes your local market has buyers that have more money or have more foot traffic. And so other places are able to demand higher asking prices than other markets. But when it comes down to it, the internet has globalized products. Right now, I can buy 50,000 pairs of sunglasses on Alibaba for like $30,000. Honestly, probably less. I can probably get 50,000 pairs of decent sunglasses for probably like $9,000. And then you can, you can just buy anything in this world because of USPS and UPS and FedEx and carrier boats and all that good stuff. But Jose Lopez, I want you, like I've talked about throughout this live, I want you to understand that your state doesn't matter. Your area doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Obviously it does, and especially in the beginning when you're just learning. If you have an easier area as opposed to a harder one, you're going to have a lot better go at this. But what matters much more than the state is the reseller, is the picker. So if you can better yourself over time, you're going to be able to find more in your local area and out. How many listings per day on eBay were you doing when you hit $50,000 a year? I think I had so at one point, my average sales price was $50. So my profit on that was probably 27. And I had 2,700 items. Now, let's see, I had that even back when I had 1,200 items. So I had 1,200 divided by 90 times an 85% sell-through rate. That made me $206,000 a year revenue. And then after 50% in expenses, and then we'll add like an extra 12%, we'll say, that made $88,000. So at about, so you like, if you followed my exact business model of only fast sell-through rate items with an average sales price of 50, you can make $50,000 a year with about 900 items in your store. Your favorite sourcing plug, flea markets for used, news, men's clothes. My favorite sourcing method is eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark lots. Those are the three best. That's what's been the best for me. How many gifts do you need to give to the manager at the thrift store to get insider info? If you just have like an awesome personality, I don't think you have to give any gifts at all. If you just like ask people like how they're doing, most people at thrift stores are working there because they haven't had like the most success and luck in life. They're kind of down on their luck, and they're at the thrift store to get new opportunities. I'll just ask them about their life. How are you? What's your name? Have you been in Utah for your whole life? Oh no, you came here from Alabama? Wow, what's the story there? The majority of these people will tell you, well, I don't know, man. Just things happened. I ended up in prison for a few years, but like I'm back on my grind. I'm trying to get back into it. Oh yeah, that's awesome, dude. Just talk to people. I really think just opening your mouth is like the biggest way to make connections. Like you don't need to give them like Gatorade or donuts or anything. Just ask them if they have a wife or kids, and then if they have a daughter, ask them if she likes gymnastics or if she does singing or anything like that. I think that's the best way too. How do you source glasses and camera lots on eBay when the photos of the items are so far away so you can't see the model numbers, what the model numbers are? You can know that the majority of real Ray-Bans will sell for at least $16 plus shipping, and most of them sell for $30. You just learn over time that the majority of Coach ones sell for $28 plus shipping, and a lot of them are going to be in unsellable condition. So you aren't able to sell all 39 of them that you got in the lot. But if you get all 39 of them at a buy cost of $2.48 and you're able to sell 3 of them, you've already made money. And then everything else that you're going to sell is just going to keep making you money. So when you're looking into lots, you're not trying to make $23 on every single item, because this mouse lot, for example, I got them all at 75 cents each. I'm probably going to have to dispose of or lot up and resell I bought 200 of them, and like at least 60 of them won't be worth listing on their own. So I bought 140 of them. What's the math on that? $200 divided by 75 cents is 150 is 150. Wait, hold on. It's getting late at night. Yeah, so if I buy 75 cents times 200, it's $150. And then if 140 of them are profitable, then my cost of goods goes up to 93 cents because I'm not selling all 200 of them. I'm only selling 140 of them. And so my cost of goods goes up from 75 to 93 cents. But then if I take that lot and I sell them all for 75 cents each, I profit 75 cents each. Then it brings my cost of goods back down to 75 cents. And then if I'm able to put them all in a lot and sell them for even more, let's say $1, then it's actually going to bring my cost of goods down to like somewhere in the 60-cent range. So there's a lot more that goes into the lot resale game. Those are numbers that you need to brush up on and understand as well. But yeah, a lot of times when I'm buying lots, I'm just making sure that there's at least 5 or 6 really decent ones. And then I'm okay with 20 okay ones and 20 pretty crap ones. For winter items like ski equipment and clothing, you list now or wait till like October? Thanks. I list everything that I get. So I don't have a death pile. Right now is like the closest thing I've ever had to a death pile, but all of this stuff will be listed before I go to a thrift store again. With my employees and with how much I list, this will all probably, these 4,000 items will probably be listed in a few weeks. So, but yeah, everything I get, I list immediately. I've noticed you've slowed down on clothing. I used to buy truckloads of liquidation. I've realized clothing is better for me when the repeatable steps instead of one-offs. You say you're doing better by the truckload instead of just going to the thrift store and buying piece by piece. It's interesting. Yeah, I have slowed down on clothing just because they don't. I don't buy clothing. I don't buy remotes. I don't buy digital cameras. I just buy things that have applicable sales data on eBay. So like when I go to the thrift store, I'm not saying, oh, I'm not going to buy t-shirts or I'm not going to buy remotes. And I'm not saying I'm going to buy t-shirts or I'm going to buy remotes. I only buy things that have a decent sell-through rate. So if it doesn't have a decent sell-through rate and it doesn't have a decent profit, I don't buy it. If it does have a decent sell-through rate and it does have a decent profit, then I do buy it. It doesn't matter if it's a shirt or a curling iron or a waffle maker. If it has the sales data, then I buy it. Thank you. I'm not going to be at the DI tomorrow. I bought too many lots online and I'm moving in like 13 days. So I got to get it all taken care of. Been selling on eBay for 25 years. Trump's 4 years was the best ever. As soon as Joe raised rent and food tripled, my sales have been so bad for the last 3 years. Elemental dimensions. This is exactly what I'm talking about. When you have a pessimistic and what's it called? What's the other phrase I use? I can't remember. When you have a pessimistic mindset and your government and eBay and your thrift stores affect how much money you make, they will definitely affect how much money you make. But if you affect how much money you'll make more money. If you let external factors determine how much money you make, you will never make a lot of money. But if you determine how much money you make, you'll make a lot more money. So I did the same thing. I did the same thing when I had the exact reverse. When before Trump was elected, I was doing drop shipping. I was selling scratch off calendars. So like I would have a map of the United States that had little black matte film on them. And then if you went to that state, you would take a quarter and you'd scratch it off, and then there would be a color, and that's symbolizes that you've been to that state. I also sold the the whole world map, and you can scratch off countries, right? I was doing that through drop shipping, which meant that I would run ads for those. And then there was just a warehouse. There was a warehouse full of them in China. When those sold, I never touched the product. The Chinese warehouse would package them and then ship them to the customer, and they'd usually get there 20 to 30 days later. It was very profitable for me. I was making about $9 per sale, which was awesome, doing no work except for making little videos and running ads. Then Trump imposed his tariff on China, and my $9 profit went to 18-cent profit, just like that. I didn't blame Trump. I didn't blame the government. I just said, okay, I can find a way to make more money in this current situation, or I can just change situations and continue to make money. And that's what I did. I just continued to make money. Joe Biden has done things that have stood in my way of making more money, and I don't blame Joe Biden. I just get around it and I make more money. If you are blaming another man or a political party or a thrift store or a reselling platform for your slow sales, you are going to continue to have slow sales. But if you lovingly and in a positive way blame yourself, you will have faster sales. Thanks for sharing your insider information. I appreciate your knowledge and honesty. Appreciate you. How to sell on eBay, selling fees has entered the chat. Moneyman Rahim, again. With that mindset, you will make less money than someone who has a more positive mindset. I really hope that you guys can like understand that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just like some 28-year-old guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. It's very likely as well. But I promise you, a lot of people on like TikTok and YouTube and stuff, they say, why are you telling people your secrets? You're just creating more competition for yourself. I promise you guys, the more you give, the more you will have. If you give more than you take, you won't be able to take as much as you would even imagine. If you take more than you give, you will eventually have nothing left to take. But if you just, it's weird how it happens. But there's religious influence data behind this, and there's also empirical scientific data. Those who give their money away get more money over their lifetimes. Those who pay tithing or those who make charitable donations on a regular basis end up making more money because of those decisions. It makes 0 sense. You give away money expecting none of it to come back, and you get more than it coming back to you. It's just how it works. When you have an abundant mindset, you make more money and you live a better life. I can promise you guys that. It's what I've seen in my life. I have no problem telling you guys the exact things that I'm selling and how to get them, because I know that my abundant mindset will make me more money than gatekeeping that information. Thanks. Appreciate it. I actually just did my hair. I cut my hair like 10 days ago, but I just never do it. But today's Sunday, went to church, did the hair, and it actually looks good. Flipwise by Justin Resells gives me the most of these numbers. It's a great tool. Yeah, I like Justin. I also like Flipwise. It's another good product that people can take a look into. Your jaw would drop if you saw some of the stuff I have. I got to learn to sell stuff. I have a ton of very old coal mining stuff and non-military stuff. Wow, that's dope. Get it up. Just be careful with the military stuff. But yeah, just list it and see what happens. Price of item does not matter as much as turnover rate. How fast does the item sell is most important. I agree with you. But for some reason, your turnover rate is highly affected by politics, and it doesn't have to be. And yes, I'm not delusional. Okay, the reason why it's called politics is because they write policy, and policy affects business. Policy affects community. Policy affects religion. Policy affects all of this stuff. Like, I'm not blind to that. But I promise you that if you can be the one that navigates the policy instead of being navigated by the policy, you will never have an issue making money and being happy. Hey man, was wondering, what is the best way to program to figure out exactly your net profit after all? Okay, I did that. So yeah, just keep looking. Good luck selling high-priced items with 10% is taken from selling fees and another 10 for promoted listings. So you don't need to promote at 10% is the first thing. The second thing, you can't get the prices on eBay in your local market. So if something sells for $100 on eBay and you pay 13% fees on that and the shipping and the taxes, it's going to equal close to 20%. You're going to put $80 in your pocket plus, yeah, you're going to get about $75 in your pocket. If you try to sell that at a yard sale, you're going to get 20 bucks. Okay, just think about that for a second. Where are you buying polymillers for 2 cents? There's a lot of them out. So you have to buy in bulk, but yeah, if you buy if you buy 140, then they're probably going to cost you 15 cents each. But if you buy 1,000, they're probably going to cost you 6 cents each. And if you buy 10,000, you can definitely get them for 2 to 4 cents. So you can just get them on Amazon for 2 cents if you buy enough of them. Recently, I've been picking mitts and bats. Don't know they were a high pay. Yep, everything. So that's the essence of being a reseller. The majority of computer mouses don't sell well, but some of them do. That's the same for baseball mitts. It's the same for every single category in the world. American Arbitrage is wondering, how do I resell? Well, Carrie, I think you got to figure that out. Carrie, you have already figured it out, man. You're doing great. Question: does editing videos take a while, and is it hard to keep your location anonymous in videos if anonymity is a priority for you? Yeah, so I say I'm from St. George all the time. I say I'm at the Washington Deseret Industries at the same hour every time of the day, so I'm not super worried about it. Editing videos on my phone, I'm able to do very quickly. Editing videos on my GoPro takes so freaking long. So freaking long. So I'm just not good at editing on videos. Let's see here. I love your videos, bro. Thanks. Where do you get polymillers for 2 cents? Buy a ton of them off of Amazon at the same time. I'm 68 and started selling. Helps pay for medicine. How many free listings can I have with eBay? Does it roll over the next month, or how does it work? Any tips for this old lady? Thank you. Hopefully you're still on, Deb, or hopefully you can watch the replay later. You can have 250 listings with no insertion fees, and that does roll over every month. So if you have 126 items and you sell none of, let's say you list 126 items today and none of them sell in 30 days, you will have 251 items and you will pay a fee on that one item over 250. If you list 250 items today and you list one more tomorrow, you'll pay a fee on that. If you list 150 today and then you list 10 per day and then you sell a ton of them, and at the end of the month you only have 249 listings, but you have 112 of those original listings, 30 days later, those 112, boom, now count towards your 250. So just keep that in mind when you're calculating your store size and how many items you want to have and for your fees. Because like when people are trying to stay under 1,000, but they have 700 listed, 30 days later, they're over that 1,000. Let's see here. Moving from Chicago to Tennessee, thrift stores in general have a lot of stuff. Tennessee isn't as big. Is eBay online to eBay still possible today? Thanks. Yeah, I've gotten 4,000 items over the last couple days. Do you keep track of sold and unsold items? Do you have any accounting app suggestions? Yeah, so all of that information of unsold items is in your eBay Seller Hub. It tells you how long your items have been on the site. Every time I have an item that's been on the site for more than 90 days, I put 15% off. If it's still there 90 days later, so 180 days in total, then I put it 25% off. If it's still there 90 days after that, I put it 33% off. And then accounting app suggestions, there's a lot of different ones. My Reseller Genie is good. Honestly, just eBay Seller Hub has all of the information you need except for your things like cost of goods and gas and rentals and overhead and stuff like that. But most of the information you need is in your eBay Seller Hub, or you can check out Reseller Genie below. I have a link in the description, I believe. I wish I had $2,000 in bills. Life would be so much better. Well, Donovan, if you have debt, if you have 2 car payments and you knock those out, and then you don't spend all of your money, you can probably get it down to honestly close that, depending on your location. I know that upsets a lot of people too, because life is much more expensive. But I know a lot of people that live on $1,600 a month, depending on where you are in the country. And then there's a lot of people that live on $4,000, and $4,000 seems incredibly low to some people too. But it all just depends on how much money you're making and how much money you're spending. How should I handle flat rate shipping when I live in South Florida? Should I just do calculated shipping? I'm losing money on shipping to the West Coast. You can just calculate what your highest shipping is, and then you can either set that as the shipping, or you can do an average and go up a little bit or down a little bit. It all just depends on your business model. But if you are, especially with small items, I wouldn't do flat rate on, I don't know. For my business, I do flat rate up to a pound, and then everything over a pound, I just do calculated. But it's different for each part of the country. But depending on your items, if it's bigger ones, I would do calculated shipping in a 12 by 12 by 12 box. I talk about that a lot on my channel. I won't talk about it a lot on this one because I want to get to some other questions, but I would do calculated shipping and use some different strategies. I found another live. How's it going, my brother? What are you doing up at this hour? I figured you'd be packing boxes for the new home coming soon. Yep, I'll be moving in like just under 2 weeks. I was just going through a bunch of these CDs and computer mouses that I bought, but then I just decided, hey, might as well go live. Let's see. I bought a big lot of Skylanders figures and got a crash course of Skylanders after going through them. Yep. And you probably learned that a lot of them aren't worth individually selling, but then you also learned a lot about smaller lots that you can resell. And then you also learned what bangers to look for. And you may have lost money on that, but you gained a lot of experience on that individual item. So good for you. My sell-through rate is about 50% right now. So 75 items listed, 35 sold within 90 days. Should I list more, and how much? Yeah, it all just depends. Like, that's just without additional information, it's impossible to answer that question. But if you want to make more money, list more items. And if you want to continue to make the same amount of money times 2, then list the same quality of items more often. But a lot of times you're like, okay, I want to get to 500 items. So you sacrifice that 50% sell-through rate and you start picking up items that have 20, 30% sell-through rate. And so as long as you can maintain your sell-through rate, you can predict your sales. But if you just, like, too many people have the goal of store size instead of money. So they're like, oh, I want to have a store with 3,000 items, when really their goal should be, I want a store that makes $500 a day, or I want a store that sells 20 items per day. And once you calculate the sell-through rate and how quickly your items will move, then you can actually predict how much money you'll make. But too many people think, so for your example, oh, I have 75 and I'm selling 35 per 90 days. If I just get to 150, I'll sell 70 per day. But what ends up happening is you aggressively try to get to 150 as fast as you can, and you sacrifice the quality of your items to get there. Hey, J-Ride Man, how can I get my account above standard again? I recently fell below. Just keep doing everything that you need to do. Just be patient and just do what's necessary to not fall under it again. So don't try to rig the system and buy and sell a bunch of items for a penny or $1 to get that percentage number to go down. Just ship everything on time, accurately describe your items. Don't scam people. Do everything that eBay wants you to do, and you'll get out of it. So all you have to do to get out of below standard is just meet the requirements to be above standard, which is ship your items when you say you will and refund people when you are obligated to. Do you have to be at the stores before they open in order to get the deal soldier deals? No, not necessarily. It's just the same as thrifting, and it's just like a lot of times, like especially big retailers, they stock throughout the day and throughout the week. You just have to keep going. I would recommend talking to managers and different employees and trying to understand when they restock and things like that. It's the same game as thrifting, just a little different. But yes, you just have to learn your individual stores. My thrift store, for example, only puts items out in the morning, so I have to be there in the morning. Other thrift stores put out items throughout the day, and so you need to kind of learn that schedule. Same with retail arbitrage. Is shipping overseas ever a problem? I just got an order from an address from a US military base in Japan. On eBay specifically, if you have international shipping program, no, not a problem at all. They take care of everything. You just got to make sure that it gets to your eBay warehouse location in the United States properly, and then they take care of the rest from there, which is really awesome. I've noticed that I've had items that have listed to sell have disappeared. Can I retrieve them? If not, how do I keep them from disappearing? So a lot of times when you sell something and then they cancel, it doesn't, a lot of times it doesn't automatically relist the item, or sometimes when you, I just lost that thought, but a lot of times these items disappearing is just because, or they buy something and then it goes 4 or 7 days, whatever you have it set up to, and they don't pay for it. And a lot of times people just don't have auto relist clicked. And so if people don't pay for items, they don't get relisted into their store. If items are truly disappearing from your site, from your store, call eBay for sure, because that shouldn't be happening. What do you sell on Poshmark? Everything that I sell on eBay that is under 5 pounds. So everything that is under 5 pounds in my eBay store, I cross list with Flip to Poshmark. And then everything in my eBay store, regardless of weight, I cross list to Mercari. So I have Game Boys and video games and computer mouses and remotes on Poshmark too. Everything. Can you talk about how you hire employees and what you pay them hire? Do you find your employees? I need the help, but don't know how to go about it. Thank you so much for everything. Yeah, so the way I've hired my first employees for all of my businesses is I grew up a pretty social guy and I live in the same town that I grew up in. So the first employees that I've ever had, I just put on my Instagram story, hey, I'm looking for employees to be a technician for my pest control business. I pay $17 an hour. Anyone that's interested, DM me. And then I have a ton of people DM me. I did the same thing. Hey, I run an eBay business. I need an e-commerce manager who can list and ship out items for me. I pay $14 an hour. Hit me up if you're interested. If you don't have those connections like I did growing up in the same town and being very social, then you can do that same thing on Indeed. You can also put out Google ads and things like that as well. I pay my employees usually like 60% above minimum wage for this. What I have them do is just clean items and ship them, which is an entry-level position. But I want them to actually like be able to afford life a little bit and actually be excited to come work for me. So I usually start people out at about like $12 an hour. Minimum wage in Utah is $7.25 for like an entry-level position. But then like my tech pest control job, that's above entry-level position, so I pay more for that. I usually start people at like $17 or $18 an hour. I just kind of like, that's like one of the rare things that I don't mathematically figure out. I just kind of go by feel. I just like think like, oh, I think this is worth $14 an hour. How does that sound? And people are like, oh, that's great. Or, oh, that's crappy. Can you give me more? And I just like talk to people about it. But yeah, depending on your state, like this is like, if you have the same job, if you give them the same job that I do, that's definitely an entry level position, and you can come up with any number at minimum wage or higher, and just be competitive with the market and things like that. The majority of entry level workers here in St. George, Utah, make like $9 an hour, and I pay like 12 to 14. And then usually what I do is I raise my employees $1 an hour every time my my active listings goes up by like 600 items, because that means that their workload has also gone up that much, and I pay more for that. 2K a month reselling is extremely easy if you put in the hours. 10K per month is a whole different story. I think 10K per month is very doable as well. But yeah, it just takes the hours and all the good stuff. Doesn't matter if you don't have a store. I just have a regular account. Yeah, just if you want to, once you get more and more into this, you'll definitely want to have a store. But yeah, if you have like less than 100 items, you don't need a store. Let's see. Hi, J-Ride. How do you configure shipping size for long items like golf clubs so that the buyer gets a good shipping price and I make some money on top? You just have to ship enough golf clubs to understand how much they typically go for. So I've shipped a ton of golf clubs. Before the major changes with USPS and UPS, I know that in the farthest location, I could send non-drivers for $9 or less. So I just did a flat rate of $9.95. Now that the shipping rates have changed, the cheapest that I've been able to ship out a golf club even close to me was $12. So I've adjusted those to $14.95 flat rate shipping. So you just got to kind of keep shipping them out, and then just adjust your prices over time. What's the distance you're willing to drive every day or week to find thrift stores? Mine's a minimum of 30 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes. When I live in northern Utah, so like when I go up to visit my in-laws, they live in Layton, and I work every work day that I'm there. A lot of times we go up on like a Wednesday. After work on Wednesday, we'll go up and we'll hang out with them. We'll go to sleep. I'll wake up on Thursday and I'll work a full like 9 hours. And on those days, I'm in Layton, and I usually drive all the way down to Springville, which is like a 90-minute drive. And then I just hit up 7 thrift stores all the way up. It takes me about 6 hours. And then that's actually usually just what I do when I go visit my in-laws with my wife. And then I just do my regular like 9 or 10 or 11 hours a day at home. But yeah, so every time I go, but when I move to northern Utah, I will probably drive 1 hour north and then make my way back home. And then the next day I'll drive 1 hour south and I'll drive my way back home. And there's not as much for me up north. So then the next day I'll drive southwest 1 hour and then make my way back. And then I'll go up north again. So I'll be like driving an hour to an hour and 15 minutes out and then hitting stores back every day. Have you read Eat That Frog? It was very helpful for me as a reseller. I have not. I've never even heard of it. I'll look it up. Late Night Live, I like it. You the man, brother. Appreciate you being here, Paul. I don't know if you realized, but I threw your name in there. It was fun. Let's see here. I believe people are losing money from not adding handling when finding items to sell. Yeah, you can definitely charge your buyer for shipping and handling, for sure. You don't need to do free shipping to be successful on eBay. Let's see here. Lowest acceptable sell-through rate for your business model. Sorry if someone already asked this. No worries. Feel free to ask me the same questions over and over again. My minimum sell-through rate, I mean, right now my overall sell-through rate is only 35%. It's about to get back up to 60% very soon. But yeah, also like I was only selling like 7 items a day during below standard on eBay. Luckily, I was selling like 14 a day on Poshmark and Mercari. But now I'm selling like 14 already again on eBay every single day. And then I'll be getting that up into like the 18 per day, 19 per day. So my 35% sell-through rate will probably catch up to 50% sell-through rate in the next probably 30 days. Actually, I don't know. With me moving, that might not be the case. We'll see what happens. But by Christmas, I think I'll be back to about a 60% sell-through rate or so. We'll see what happens. But yeah, my minimum would probably be 40% sell-through rate is what I'll pick up. It's at the end after my rant, and that was the longest rant I've ever had. So When prices of rent and food go up 300% in 3 years, how can we sell anything? So they didn't go up 300%. That's an egregious exaggeration. 300% in 3 years would be wild. That would be apocalyptic. Like 300%. Like, do you understand the gravity of 300%? Like, the average car is $20,000, and if it went up 300%, no one would buy a car. Like, yeah, dude. If you spend $200 on groceries and it goes up 300% and it compounds on itself for 3 years, come on now. Listen, inflation is bad. Record highs for the last 50, 60 years. Okay. But you got to remove some emotion out of it, man. 300% in 3 years is not what happened at all. Oh man, I'm not defending Joe Biden. I'm not defending Trump. I'm just letting you know 300% in 3 years is not correct information. Let's see. Let's continue on with this. The macroeconomic environment Biden created is brutal. The inflation and cost to live is out of control. Trump had 50-cent dozen eggs. Listen, this will be very controversial. You ready? Jerome Powell affects your life more than Joe Biden does. The Fed chairman affects your life more than the president of the United States does. Some people will disagree with me and that's fine. But man, to base your day-to-day life on the decisions of another person is pretty wild to me. It really is. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I'm super transparent here. I'm a Republican. Okay, I don't think that Joe Biden's doing the best job running the country. But to say that inflation is up 300% in 3 years and to blame all of the failures in your life on a president, just wild to me. Kevin's buddies have criticized you on their joint podcast. Watch your back. There are snakes in the water. No worries. I love all three of those guys. I love Kevin, Dave, and Carrie. They're my friends. It's all very lighthearted. In high school, I used to tell all my friends, Jake Ryder loves you when he kicks you when you're down. It's just kind of the way. It's just kind of the way that we talk sometimes. I have love for all three of those guys, and I believe all three of those guys have love for me. I hang out with Carrie and Kevin. I just barely got back from Kentucky with Carrie and Kevin. Unfortunately, Dave couldn't make it, but I met Kevin for the first time and it was awesome. I've hung out with Carrie 5 or 6 times. It's not like we're buddies. So don't worry, they're not snakes. They're great. They're great guys. Is it better to offer free shipping and include the shipping in your price? In my opinion, no. I have a few different videos on it, but you got to make your own decision for your business. But there's just a lot of benefits to having shipping, in my opinion. I agree. It's shocking that the grown men are acting like little girls. No, it's just the way we communicate with each other. Let's see. It would be cool if I could talk to you on FaceTime while at the thrift store and you can help me. This is what this live is. You guys are able to ask me questions live. I know I went on the longest rant I've ever done, so I'm not able to get to your guys' questions, unfortunately. But yeah, that's what this is for. I love you, okay? But I love my wife much more. And I just can't take the time to FaceTime 16 people every single day and walk people through thrift stores when I need to make money for my own family and then go on dates and connect with my wife. So I really hope that these lives are beneficial for you guys and I can help you guys through that way. But yeah, I can't. If I did that for you and no one else, then everyone would be outraged. And then if I did it for everyone else, I wouldn't be a human. I would have no quality of life. So I hope that's understandable. Hey, where do you get most of your eyeglass frames? Almost all of them from ebay.com. You just type in eyeglass. I type in sunglasses lot, and I'm constantly refreshing and looking through that feed all day, every day. Not all day, but periodically throughout the day. Bro, what happened to Osborne to Thrift? I don't know. I've communicated with him over Instagram DMs a couple times. He let me know that he's just done with YouTube. He still does Instagram. He still does content on Instagram a little bit. He didn't give me the reason why he doesn't make YouTube videos anymore, but he did tell me that he, for the time being, is not making YouTube videos. And I miss that guy. Great channel. Let's see here. Don't hire friends or family and pay them generously. That's good advice, but all of my employees have been friends and family, except for one. And the one that wasn't a friend or family actually ended up being the worst call. So also has a lot to do with your personality as a business owner and your inner circle and the people around you. If you have toxic friends and family, then yeah. But I will say this, I would never go into business with a family member. Just too messy. If they're humble enough to be your employee, or if you're humble enough to be their employee, that's great. I can definitely see that working out. But when you do business with a family member, no bueno. And yeah, father-son can, usually can work out a little better, especially like in a service business like landscaping or like movers, like Frankfurt and Son, things like that. But yeah, like going into business with your brother-in-law or going into business with your uncle, sheesh, stay away from it. I've never done that. I won't. Being a know-it-all reseller will hurt you. I've sold 10 Hanks Crafts humidifiers and 20 plus InStylers just from seeing them on this channel. You never stop learning and you'll never make more money. Exactly. Got to be humble and got to keep learning every single day. How do you know how many are listed and how many have been sold on eBay? I've never seen those numbers when filtering by sold. Yeah, you just look up the item. The more specific you can be, the better. That's why I like electronics, because you can type in exact model numbers. And then it'll show you how many are listed at the bottom. And then you can filter to sold, and it will show you on the bottom as well how many have been sold. Bo Johnson, what's up, man? 1017. Oh, I am a whole hour behind on comments. That is ludicrous. Started using Google Lens, the technology to our advantage. Yep, got to do it. If you take a picture on Google phone to find value, you will get burned. You have to go to the eBay and go to solds to get items true value. Yeah, I don't think you understand what Victor was saying. So you can take a picture. If you have no idea what something is in front of you, you can take a picture of it with Google Lens to learn the keywords to look on eBay. So that's what I do. And I think that's what Victor was saying too. What is the app that you mentioned a few weeks ago that helps with finding listings in TJ Maxx stores like that? It is Deal Soldier. Boom, Carol just said it. Deal Soldier. There's a link in the description below if you want to try it out. It's not for everybody, but it's very profitable for me and a lot of other people. It's free for 7 days, and then it's $35 a month after that, which a lot of people don't want to pay the $35, and that's completely fine. But I make a few $1,000s a month from that app alone, which is awesome. So link in the description if you want to check it out. It just alerts you when there's really good deals in your local area. How do you avoid funds being held until delivery confirmation by eBay? Sell more stuff. So once you reach a certain threshold, your funds become more available more quickly. But what I advise is setting up your business to where you don't need money immediately. And that comes through a lot of discipline and growing slowly and making correct business decisions. If you need money immediately from sales, that means you haven't built up a strong enough base to cash flow your business. So once you can get to a point where you're selling a ton of items, they're going to pay you more quickly. But at that point, you don't even need it because you have already cash flowed your business and it's going well. Let's see. You guys are having some conversations in the chat. Is there a way to gallery my collection of best rare action figures to bring traffic to my store without selling the rare figures? Here's the deal. If you have good items, you don't need to do anything fancy to bring extra traffic to your store, because people will eBay is amazing at getting your items in front of people that are interested in them. So like Tekken Sports, for example, the biggest clothing reseller on eBay, his eBay is Tekken Sports. It has I guess you could make an argument that the sports relates to jerseys and hats that he sells. And that's probably why he did the sports thing. But the first name is Tech. You don't need followers to sell on eBay. eBay does such a good job with their algorithm and with their paid ads to get people to find the items that you were selling, that you don't need to really create all this external traffic or like hack different ways to get more traffic, because eBay gives you sufficient if you just list good items. Removing emotion from the sales process has been the best advice you've given me. You have to sell what people want to buy, not just what you enjoy selling. Simple as that. Yep. That's a tough one for a lot of people to learn, but it is worthwhile learning. Oh, it's 11 o'clock where I am. So on the East Coast, it's 1:17 a.m. Everyone spam the chat if you're on the East Coast. Put in the chat me if it's 1 a.m. where you're at. Put me if you're on the East Coast. I wonder how many of you guys are from the East Coast right now. Let's see here. The title says Q&A. Yeah, we got here. God has brought me through so much, man. Love Jesus. I'm praying for everyone. Good stuff. Let's see here. For winter items, you list now or waiting until the end of October? Oh, sorry, I already answered that. Florida is epic. People come here to die, El Mayo. It's true is why it's so funny. Dude, type in your birthday and then Florida man and see what comes up. Wow, not a lot of you guys seem to be on the East. Well, I mean, a good portion. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like a dozen of you that ended up commenting. But yeah, let's get to some more questions here. I'll probably go for a full 2 hours. We're at 1 hour and 46 minutes, and I spoke for 53 minutes straight. That was wild, pretty wild. I must be full of myself. It's for real, man. I tried hurting myself 3 times. Now I work in a church, have a family, and an entire life is turned around. Also love reselling. LL. Yeah, man. Congratulations. Keep working. It's awesome. Just believe in yourself and do things every day that will end up making you happy and life works out. Is there? Oh, you already asked that question. I need to get my life together. I'm 31 and have no wife or kids. I work a full-time job, but I have so much free time. I should theoretically be killing it with as much time as I have. 2 things. First off, being self-aware like that is important, but also you need to be nice to yourself. From that message, it's hard to tell if you are being positive or negative. And I hope that you are just kind of being frank with yourself. First off, you don't need to have a wife and kids and a ton of money at 31 to be successful. All you got to do is be happy. I know a lot of my friends are around your age and my age. I'm 28. I'm about to be 29. So I have a lot of, friends that are in the 30, 31-year-old range that aren't married and they're happy. A wife and the kids can bring so much happiness to you. I can testify of that. My wife brings me so much happiness. I'm not dependent on her to be happy, but she just enriches my life in a way that I didn't think was imaginable, and it's awesome. But I'm also comfortable with who I am, that I can live an amazing and happy life, even if I was still single at 29, 30, 31. You have a lot of free time. What I recommend doing is really just taking that free time to just keep trying to develop that awesome relationship with yourself. Because if you can develop that awesome relationship with yourself, the relationship with your future wife is just going to fall into place. The relationship with God is going to fall into place. Your financial relationship with money is going to fall into place. So good stuff. I think I am shy from bulk on eBay because of scams. Did you have people recommend? Did you have people recommend to you? I'm interested in makeup and I'm a girl, so wondering how to find so much for $1. They're not crappy brands. Yeah, it's a ton of work, Vicky. It's not easy to buy profitable lots on eBay. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time on eBay.com. It takes a lot of knowledge of going through lots and learning. So if you've never bought a lot on eBay and you've never sold makeup on eBay, you probably don't have the ability to do that right now. But if you continue to learn and watch this channel and go and experience and go to yard sales and find makeup and know what you're looking for and things like that, you'll be able to get there eventually. But it's not, you're not going to start making $10,000 a month tomorrow. It's difficult. Everything worthwhile is. You are really online right now? I've been packing orders for the past hour. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. One in particular is a huge board game. It's over 25 pounds. I'm sweating here in California. 25 pounds for a board game? Holy cow. Let's see. I have a chill vibe. Thanks. Guys, I have very blue eyes, and I have really bad allergies a lot. I actually have like no allergies right now, which is awesome. But a lot of times I have very like vibrant eyes, and when I have allergies, a lot of people think that I'm high on these videos. I know that's not. I mean, that's kind of what you're saying with the Jamaican flag, but I've never smoked weed in my whole life. I've never had one drop of alcohol. I've never done any of that stuff. And people always think that I'm high in my videos. It's funny. You're trying to make me cry. I buried my horrible childhood and I do love myself. I know I am the bomb. LMAO. You had a lot of good points that I'm trying to forget. Appreciate you, man. I still troll Craigslist in 3 Mile area and resell on eBay. It's great. Yeah, no, yeah. Craigslist is still a land of opportunity. Dumpster diving is still great to sell on eBay. Like there's a lot of ways to come across inventory. Just roasted every thrift store employee yellow. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said a lot of them are down on their luck, and you just talk to them. Think I need some counseling now. Thanks a lot, man. You got this, TC. Hey, great man of the night. I have spent some hours at Dollar Tree, TJ, Marshalls without any great sell-through rates. Is Deal Soldier the only way to go? Thanks. No, so Deal Soldier is like a huge aid to what I'm already doing. So I'm already in TJ Maxx and I'm just looking stuff up all day long. And then that process is sped up through Deal Soldier and I know where to go and what things to start looking for. But yeah, it's just like thrifting. I'm looking stuff up over and over and over and over again. Like when I go to TJ Maxx, I spend an hour in there because I just go through all the sections and I look stuff up on eBay and I see if they're profitable and if they have a good sell rate and if they have a good margin. So same as everything else I do, thrifting and all that stuff, I just spend a lot of time looking stuff up and that's what it takes. Jesus loves his Jordans. I messaged you on one of your Mercari listings for a lot of remotes. Don't think you ever got a chance to respond, but I was wondering if you are into selling a large lot of to other resellers. Yeah. Oh, what the heck did I just do? Sorry, I accidentally clicked on the screen and it got big. Yeah, Josh, email me at jrideflips@gmail.com if you're hearing this. And yeah, I'd love to sell you some remotes. I also have a ton of remotes listed in lots on shopcommons.com, Kevin's new site. If you want to buy some there, or you can email me directly and we can work out some lots for you. I accidentally scrolled all the way to the bottom. Oh, sweet. I found where I was though. What is the most effective way to find the sell-through rate? Just look at the 90-day, just type in a model number of an item, see how many are listed, and then filter to sold and see how many are sold. And then divide those two numbers. That's the quickest and easiest way. But I mean, any precedent for inflation is laughable regardless. Presidents don't control inflation. Yeah, so the thing with politics is policy definitely affects business and community. It definitely does. But really, like, economics is really just like the same old cycle, the same old human psychology, big old cycle over and over and over and over again. When we have a lot of money, we spend a lot of money. When we have $10,000, we spend $12,000. When we have $150,000, we spend $200,000. And when the majority of us in an economy do that over and over and over again, we finally get to a breaking point where we have so much debt and not enough money coming in. And then the economy suffers because of it. Do presidents and politicians definitely affect inflation? Yeah, they do, but much more than politicians affect inflation. I infect inflation, and Tammy infects inflation, and so does Matthew, and everyone in this chat. We are the people who actually govern what happens in the economy, not necessarily the politicians. I truly believe that. A lot of people disagree with me, but been full time for 2 months tomorrow. Congratulations. It's awesome. Would 20 to 30 listings a week be a good place to start? What would be better than that is only listing items that have demand, whether it's 2 a week or 50 a week. Don't focus on how many you're listing per week. Focus on how many you're selling per week. If you are listing 20 to 35% sell-through rate items, you will get to 10,000 listings and sell 3 a day on a 90-day basis. If you have a 5% 90-day sell-through and you have 10,000 items, you will sell 3 a day. Don't do that. If you have a 100% sell-through rate on a 90-day total and you have 100 items, you'll sell 100 every 90 days. Much better. Much better. So don't focus on how many items you're listing. Focus on listing as many quality items as you can. So don't sacrifice the quality of your items just to get to 20 or 30. If you only list 7 items, but they all have demand, that's much better than just getting to 30 items because you want to get to 30 items. Garage sales have 0 seller fees. Yes, but you cannot get nearly the price of the garage sales you can on eBay. Sometimes you can, not very often. I'm a little over a month into reselling with over a 50% sell-through rate, overwhelmed with progress. Thanks for all your guidance in this game. It has been a huge factor. Appreciate you, Eric. It's all you, though. Let's see. I am 45 minutes behind in the chat now. Excellent. Having some conversations in the chat. What is oh, you already asked that. Did you increase your flat rate to adjust for USPS price increases? Only on long items, only on like baseball bats and golf clubs. Everything else I kept them the same. Do you have a regular schedule for live shows? Tune in by accident? No, unfortunately I don't. Maybe once I move, I will have things much more established, but right now it's very random. This is the most random one. I never go live at night like this. Listen to Crosslist. Which one should I start with? I really like Flip. There's a link in the description below. I also have a few videos on it. It's just FLYP. It's free for 100 days, and then it's only $9 a month. It's a really good one. I have over 280 items. I sell like 3 to 4 items per week. So that means you're selling half an item a day with 280 items. That's not awful, but it's not great by any means. What I would recommend doing, if you're unhappy with if you're happy with your business, don't change anything. But if you're unhappy with your sales numbers right now, I would actually start listing less items per day and per week, and only focusing on items that have good sell through. And then you'll sell more items per week with less items listed. Are ad promotions worth it? I think definitely. So I've run several different businesses, and in any business where someone said, hey, if you spend $700 in ads, you'll make an extra $16,000. Sign me up. That's usually my conversion for ads. I promote at 2.1%, and I used to promote at 2.6%, and $700 would equate 16,000 in revenue. At 2.1%, now it's probably like $550 equate to like 14,000 or something like that. So yeah, definitely. Stock market questions. What stocks do you like right now? So I like ETFs. I invest. So I have my Roth accounts. I used to have a Roth IRA until I started making too much money per year. Now I have to do a traditional Roth. I'm thinking about doing a backdoor Roth IRA though, so we'll see what happens with that. I'm actually going to have a meeting with my accountant about that next month. I'm doing the research of if I should actually do a backdoor Roth IRA or if I should just stack my traditional Roth and see how that goes. But I also maximize my HSA account. So in my IRAs and in my HSA account, I do ETFs, a 3-way split between QQQ, VOO, and SCHD. Then in a separate taxable account, I buy individual stocks. This is not stock advice. Don't follow me. I'm just a 28-year-old guy on the internet, but this is all for entertainment purposes only. I'm buying a lot of Airbnb right now. I'm also buying a lot. I'm hoping that Microsoft and Apple start to take huge downswings too. I'd love to get into Apple around 160. I don't know if it will ever really come back down to that number again. Be cool if it did. But I'm also if it comes down to about 180, I'll start to buy in, and then hopefully buy in more and more. If it goes down to 160, 140 would be awesome. No one knows what's going to happen. It's all just speculation, but I like Apple. I like Microsoft. I like Airbnb right now. And then I bought a little bit of Starbucks recently just because it had that huge dip. I owned a lot of Facebook when it was like 380, and then it crashed all the way down to $91, and I bought all the way down. It was awesome. And now Facebook is like at $560 a share, and my average buy-in is like $140, and I have several dozen shares. So that was awesome. So I'm hoping the same thing kind of happens with Starbucks. Temp in Alabama can sell an item for $4 free shipping. In America, I can ship anything for under $4. How can we even compete? And you can't ship anything for under $4. I just shipped a basketball card for 63 cents, and I shipped a remote control for $3.88. So that's under $4. Is it safe to list shoes on Mercari, like $200 value shoes? Yeah, I mean, it's just you just have to understand that like there are some returns in business, and that happens. But yeah, like I sell $200 shoes on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari all the time. My nephew was making $19 an hour entry level. Where's he at? Are you guys in California or something? But like entry level for a tech company like Facebook is a lot different than entry level at Little Caesars. I made $7.25 an hour at Little Caesars back when I was 16. That is true entry level. Alabama, Moochie, do you understand that Alabama has a very low cost of living, right? I don't think it's smart for people to quit their jobs to become a full-time reseller. Yeah, I hope you're like agreeing with me, or you didn't watch any of this. Eggs was the best investment for Biden, 50 cents a dozen at Aldi when Trump $3 now with Biden. Eggs, bro, was the trade. No, it's a lot better than that. Remote controls for 75 cents that sell for $8. That's a lot better than 50 into 3. And I buy a lot of remotes for 75 cents that sell for $29. Much better investment than your egg theory there, my guy. It is if they're making more money. What? So you spend your time sourcing and worrying about this stuff and train someone to do all the actual photos and listings. How do they know what to set price at? I train them on that as well. So I just tell them how I price items, and then I train them to price them like I would. And I always have them draft. And then every morning I wake up and I launch drafts, and I make tweaks if needed in titles and pricing. But the more you train your employees and the more time the more experience that they gain, the less tweaks that you have to make. Have you been to Salt Lake Vince? Yeah, I've been there like 7 or 8 times, and I'll probably go there a few times. I'll probably go like once a week or a few times a month when I live in Layton. Currently testing and listing the Lionel Train collection from a garage sale. Pray for me. Good stuff, man. I hear those are good. You're such a likable person. Thanks for sharing yourself and your knowledge with the world. Thanks. I'm glad that you think I'm a likable person. There's a lot of people in this chat that disagree with you, and that's okay too. Can you explain pirate ship quickly? Yeah, pirate ship is basically the same as eBay shipping discount rates, but I'm able to put in my credit card a lot easier, and I have a rewards travel card. So I get to take my wife to Greece every year for free on labels that I'm already purchasing for my business. So that's pretty dope. But yeah, it's basically the same as the shipping rates. Thoughts on algorithm boosting hacks like revising eBay listings, updating item specifics, and new listings. Buy better items and you don't have to worry about all of that. But I would have given you a better answer, but you have been very negative this whole life. So I don't think you're actually going to do anything with real information, unfortunately. But love you, man. You definitely encouraged me to start selling on eBay again. That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate it. How many drinks did you have this evening? I have never had alcohol in my whole life, but I had a 0 sugar Monster this morning, and I'm currently drinking a root beer. So 2 drinks, non-alcoholic. If I send a thank you note with items purchased, can I include a discount code for 10% off anything in my store individualized so they can't be reused or shared? Yes, but that's a lot of work. You can also just make codes. You can also make codes just usable once. But honestly, Maverick, I would just set, because they can still share them or whatever. What I would do is I would set up your business to where you're okay taking a 10% offer on every single item every time. So I am willing to sell all of my items. Every time I have a liker, I send a 15% off offer. A lot of times I'll accept a 40% off offer, 30% off. Like 10% is very small. I would try to set up your business in a way where you're okay taking off 10% every single item you sell and just getting more sales. But yeah, I don't know. That sounds like way more work, and you'll make less money making all those individual codes than if you just sold more items at 10% off. You would make much more money, and you'd be able to compound your business much more quickly. That's what I would do, but you don't have to. The inflation is worldwide. Yep, it is worldwide. Guys, Japan, nuts right now. Absolutely nuts right now. Can you tell us where you find your lots of makeup and cosmetic products? Yeah, all the lots that I get, the majority of them are from eBay. The record with Trump, don't lie. He put more money in my pocket. Trump 2024. Listen. Oh, man. I truly believe that your wealth is dependent on you and not dependent on the current president. Yes, you may have made more money under Trump and less money under Joe Biden, but there's just so many other factors that go into that. Like, first of all, there was a global pandemic, and a lot of my friends were getting paid $4,800 a month of unemployment during COVID, plus the checks, and then that went away. So yeah, my lazy friends were definitely making way more under Trump during the pandemic because they were getting almost $5,000 a month in unemployment, and then by the time that the pandemic was all kind of washed away, they weren't getting $5,000 a month in disability. So there's just so many other factors. I will make money under Trump, under Biden, under Kamala, under Mike Pence, under Donald Trump Jr. if he ever runs, under Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Jake Ryder makes his own money and his own happiness. Okay. I think that my quality of life is affected by the current president, but not very much at all. Not much at all. I am definitely conservative, but my life is virtually the same under all candidates. And a lot of people get pissed off and disagree with me on that. But yeah, like my life is the same because I don't watch the news, and I just live my life. I actually do watch the news. I watch a lot of financial news, and finances and business are definitely affected by policy. So I always know what's going on, but I just choose to affect my environment instead of letting my environment affect me. And you can't truly control your environment, but you can control most of it, and you can definitely affect it much more than the average person thinks that they can. And that's the value and memorial that I set my life upon. Oh, okay, I didn't know You all were friends, I guess. If that's how you communicate, my bad for misunderstanding. No worries. And a lot of people a lot of people think that Dave and Carrie are always like trashing on Kevin, but it's just how they talk. It's funny. Do you believe in abundance? I sure do. I can say that I do, as I showed up to the same yard sale as you 2 minutes too late and found some good items, and then found $135 at the next yard sale. Reselling is the goat. Are you talking about like me specifically? Like, do you actually know me? Because it's really cool if you did. There's plenty for everybody. Thank you for this live. It's just what I needed to start my week motivated. Hey, appreciate you. I made $0 off Deal Soldier, but that's because products were either gone, sold out, or not available. Yi Muchi, I hate to tell you this. You've been very negative in this chat. I'm not defending Deal Soldier at all right now. I just think that you just had a pretty bad attitude and didn't work your hardest with the resources that you had. And I think that you should first love yourself and then blame yourself for making no money with that tool. Thank you so much for going live tonight. I truly appreciate all the time you give to us and help us be our best sellers we can be. Love your great attitude and ability to roll off negativity. No drama. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're awesome. Thank you for answering your question. You're welcome. How do you get a good algorithm on eBay? List very good items. That is the secret. List items that people want to buy, and you will be favored on eBay. Can you tell us or make a video on the fastest ways to upload photos to eBay with an Android phone? I want to upload photos on certain things that I already have custom templates for. I don't have an Android phone, so I wouldn't be able to do that. And I don't know any creators that have an Android phone, but hopefully someone in the chat has the Android, and they can give you some guidance there. I bought a memo occur card. That's awesome. I bought a memo occur card the other day too. Type in your social security number. No thanks. When looking at listed versus sold, there is items with less words sold and has the same item, which I believe is not the sell-through rate. I'm not understanding what you're saying, unfortunately, Pat. But the more specific you can be, typically the more accurate the sell-through rate. The less specific you are, the harder it is to calculate sell-through rate. For example, if you type in blue shirt, there's probably like 4 million of those listed and like maybe 600,000 sold. But then if you type in blue Polo Ralph Lauren shirt, then you're going to get better data. Then if you type in blue Big Pony Ralph Lauren shirt, better data. Then if you type in vintage blue Big Pony Ralph Lauren shirt, you're going to get better data. Having a smile with less money is better than being angry and frustrated with a lot of money. That's true. That's a positive comment there, Moochie. Good job. Today is my first day of selling on eBay. Just listed 8 items. Any advice on how to calculate shipping if listing things under $20? Yeah, just for now, just do calculated shipping, USPS ground, and just put in the exact measurements and just slowly learn everything from there. Just do it. Just do that. Even if your item is 4 ounces or 4 pounds or 14 pounds, just keep doing everything calculated so you can start to learn those shipping rates over time. Did you start cross-posting right away or until you posted more than 500 items? I didn't start cross-listing until I had sold like 7,000 items, and then I started to cross-list. So I had sold 7,000 items, and I had like 2,200 active items in my store when I first started to cross-list. But that doesn't mean you should follow me. I think people should start cross-listing if they have their system set up around like 500 items is usually a good time. If you're using Flip, no shade it, List Perfectly and Vendu. From what I've heard, they're great, but they're like pretty expensive. Like Flip is $9. It's dope. Me, I work 3rd shift though, and kids are in bed, so this is my productive time. That's on, dude. Tanya, I love that. That's so awesome. Good for you. So many people would make the excuse of, hey, I work too much and I have, my kids are too demanding and I can't make a better life for myself. And you're just doing whatever it takes to live an awesome life. So you should be very proud of yourself. That's awesome. I'm a new seller, first tax year. I sell mostly PSA cards that I pull and send in for grading. How do I value the cost of the card when the card is pulled from an ETB? Just declare how much money you spent total. Don't do it per card. Just say I spent $28,000 on cards this year, or I spent $13,438 on cards this year, or I spent $647. Don't do value per card. Just do the total amount you spent on your inventory, because that's, especially in that situation, that's tougher. VTI is good too. VTI is the more like total index. And I like the total market, and I just like the 500, the like 507 top performing companies. I'm loading up on NVIDIA right now. If you would have, I bought into NVIDIA before the split at like $97. No, not 97. I don't know. Now because of the split. I don't know. I bought in like 18 months ago, and I bought like 7 shares, and I wish I would have bought like 70. It was much better to buy NVIDIA a while ago. My personal opinion, I don't think NVIDIA is a buy right now. I think it's going to kind of taper off a little bit. But if for straight up long term, yeah, it's a great buy. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, it's going to be worth much more than it is today. But I do think some trouble is ahead for NVIDIA in the next like 6 months, in my opinion. Yes, I'm 28. I forgot to bring up my nephew was a pizza place, and yes, he was Cali. Oh yeah, so Cali, so $18 an hour in Cali is worse than $11 in Alabama. Like $11 an hour in Alabama is more money than $18 an hour in Los Angeles, for sure. Especially if you live within 18 blocks of the beach. Palantir, dude, Palantir is an interesting one. I do have a little bit of Palantir, not a ton. I think it's only like what, $16 a share right now, and I think I have like 40 shares. But that's a riskier one. They're a lot newer company. They don't have great EBITDA. They don't have great cash flow, but they are, oh man, they are investing and investing and investing, and they are getting people to buy in. We'll see. They could, they could be like, a lot of people are like, oh, what's the next Amazon? I don't think Palantir is going to be the next Amazon, but like maybe Palantir could be the next Visa. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I love talking about stocks, guys. So if you guys ever have questions or comments about stocks, you can definitely put them in. They're an evil racist who will not give jobs to Gentiles. Holy cow, that's wild. Where'd you read all that? I've never heard anything about like that for Palantir. I'm not saying it's not true or that it is true. I'm just, holy cow, that was nuts. You kind of remind me of Osborne to Thrift. I learned so much from him. Yeah, I mean, my business model is very similar to his, but right now his business model is he is spending $200 on something that will sell for like $450, and I'm not quite there. That's an awesome business model, and it's working really well for him. But I really love to buy things for $4 or under and sell them between 30 and 60 bucks. Love that model. How well would jewelry and keychain from Amazon be bought in bulk? From Amazon, probably not good. Yeah, probably not good. But you might figure it out. Love listening to you. Blows my mind how quick you grew your business. Great job. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. Do top-rated sellers with no returns rank higher in search than above standard sellers with free returns? Not sure, but if you have really good items, you don't have to worry about that stuff. If you have a ton of really good items and you're making money, these other questions start to kind of go away a little bit because of the cash flow of your business. And then you can definitely look into these things to like amplify your earnings. But I think a much better question is, do people with better items get more search results? And the answer is yes. Do people with worse items get less search results? Do people with worse items get less search results? The answer is yes. Did anyone make a sale while watching this live? I sold a hat for $21. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. I haven't looked at my phone this whole time. It looks like we sold some MAC eyeshadow on Poshmark. And we sold a camera and some eyeglass frames on eBay. And then Mercari, Did we sell something on recurring? Nope, we didn't sell anything on recurring. Thanks for the tip, brother. You are truly motivation when I'm not feeling like doing it to watch your videos. Thank you for taking the time to do this for us. I appreciate you. Thank you. This is the longest live I've ever done, I think. And it's almost midnight. Okay, since this is a marathon stream, I got to vent. People have no idea how to properly ship records. If you do, just buy the vinyl cardboard boxes, plus pack tight. Don't let the corners slip around. Yep. One of the first things I ever sold was one of my personal records by Panic at the Disco, Death of a Bachelor. And I didn't know how to ship it. And the person was understanding, but pretty upset that their corners came bent. And I learned from that, and I ship them differently when I do sell them. And I just barely bought a lot of media, and I got this brand new sealed Crystal Gale that is worth absolutely nothing. 9 listed, 0 sold. Average asking price, $9. I've learned more practical and useful information from watching your videos than any other resale videos. You keep it simple and down to earth. Thank you for that. You are very motivating. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks so much. Man, we're getting close. We're getting close to the end. Bear with me, guys. When I'm on eBay app, it shows I have 465 listings. When I click on my store selling tab on the browser, it shows 393. Why is that? I don't know. But like a lot of people will try to tell me like how many items I have in my store, and it's always different from what they say. And when I look at other people's stores, it's different too. So I just don't really worry about it. Wait, The Rock is going to run for office. Did you smell what The Rock is cooking or something? Dude, if another celebrity, because like Donald Trump is a celebrity, he had his own show, reality show, and everything. If another celebrity were to run for office, I could see it being The Rock. Like I could see him eventually aspiring to run for office. He probably won't, but he might. You know what I mean? What's your PO box? Got something kind of cool that I picked up that you'll enjoy. Email me at 21 at jrideflips@gmail.com because I'm moving. I don't want you to like send me something and me not be able to like get to it. So once I get my new one up north, I'll let you know. People are such crybabies and want handouts. I know a guy that just got here from Mexico. He started flipping cars and has made around 10K this month. Plus, he also works construction. There you go, Bruno. There it is. Work hard, make money. I'm going to say hi when I see you at the DI. I'm always at the Salt Lake Valley DIs. Nice. Yep, those are 2 of my favorites. I like the Sugar House one and the Welfare Square one. I like the Welfare Square one a lot. A lot of people don't like the Welfare Square one. But the Welfare Square one has a ton of small electronics, and I love small electronics. When is the best time to start marking down summer clothes and listing fall clothes? I list everything as I get it, and I don't do a ton of clothes. That'd probably be a better question for tech and sports. But I would just follow Walmart. Just do what Walmart and Target does. They've got it figured out for sure. Did you watch men's basketball Olympic semifinal? What did you think of the game? It was awesome. It sucked that we were down 17 at one point, but then Curry, Durant, LeBron took over. I also enjoyed watching the gold medal French game. It's really awesome. I really love basketball. When I was in high school and middle school, I was not this super productive committal guy that I am today. I wish I was much more. I was talking to my wife the other day. I was okay at basketball. I think I was pretty good, but I just never like committed to it. I never like I never actually like practiced and put in the time. And I wish I did. I don't think I ever would have gone D1 basketball. I just don't think I have the athletic tools. But I might have been able to go D2 or junior college. I don't know. I just didn't commit to anything until I was like halfway through my Mormon mission. And then I'm like, oh, sweet, I can commit to things. What is your take on promote stores versus promoted listings or both to increase sales? I just do promoted listings and I promote all of them at 2.1%. I recommend that you start at 2.2% and then slowly increase them over time until you get to a point where it works for you. All right, guys, we got like 10 more. Let's go. Oh, just kidding, like 20 more. Let's see. The fact that you share your knowledge and are not threatened everyone succeeding is true leadership. Appreciate that. We can all succeed. We got this. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. I listen to you all the time. I'm just about to get laid off and ramping down to transition to full-time eBay. Keep it up. Thanks, David. Appreciate you. Is eBay dead? Absolutely not. I'm currently looking for work. I'm trying the eBay flipping thing. Got an old tape recorder with manual for $1, sold for $52 my first sale. That's awesome, man. Keep it up. You got this. The joke at my work is I will sell the shoes off my feet. I've been selling on eBay since 97. Wow. And I'm finally caught on to where I need to do this full time. Why not, right? That's awesome. 97. I was 2 years old. So been doing this for like 26 years. That's awesome. It's true. The CEO of Palantir said himself that after the false flag October 7th, his company will only hire Jewish employees, berated heavily by the media in the comment. Sounds like you're typing out the second portion. Oh, only one group of people can get away with discrimination in America, and it rhymes with Jewish. Wow. I appreciate you. You're yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Would love to get together with you when you are in Layton. Yeah, if you ever see me at a thrift store, just say, hey, Jake, hey, Jay, right? I'll talk to you. Be cool. I love meeting you guys. Oh, yeah, selling records is not smart. I've had plenty of people tell me. Yeah. Around how much do top-rated plus listings get boosted versus normal listings if everything else in the listings are the same? I don't know that number, and anyone claiming that they can tell you that number is just... I don't think they're like lying on purpose, but there's just no way to actually know that. I had some health issues over the past year and ended up below standard. I'm working on revamping my store to just have quality items with high sell-through rates and have seen progress. Thanks. That's awesome, Jennifer. Keep it up. Oh, Starbucks. Andrew, were you here when I said I bought a ton of Starbucks stock? New seller here. Are you familiar with eBay pesticides policy? They said my listing needs EPA registration number for an item, but I don't see where to enter that in the details. I've never sold anything like that, so I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't be a better help to you on that, but that's completely out of my wheelhouse, unfortunately. Girls basketball won. Yep. Girls basketball won the gold. I also watched the girls soccer win gold as well. My wife played D1 soccer, and so we love watching women's soccer. And the women's soccer team is really good. It's dope. And yeah, basketball too. Her sister played basketball in high school. She is in love with Caitlin Clark. And yeah, I love basketball. I did not realize how you can promote your store. I haven't really heard of that either. I need to look into it. How do you not become a hoarder doing this, bro? Been doing it for a few years and I'm struggling. My roommates and neighbors are not fans. It really comes down to your personality. That's one of the things, like I was talking about earlier in the live. You just have to kind of like talk with yourself and realize what your deficits and weaknesses and what your strengths are, and then just slowly become better. I personally don't deal with the hoarding and the overbuying whatsoever, but I do have other weaknesses in this business that I'm constantly trying to improve. So you just have to have that. Unfortunately, I don't have much information and tips for you on that specifically. But my tips and recommendation would be to really, really get to a place where you can comfortably have that conversation with yourself and make some changes. Because it's tough, dude. Buying is fun for people. How do you ship golf clubs? Terry, come over here to YouTube and type in J-Ride Flips golf clubs. And it'll tell you exactly what you need. Did you start cross-posting right away? Nope. I waited until I had 2,000 items. I recommend people start cross-listing about 300, 400, 500 items, closer to the 500. All right, guys. Well, we're done here. Thanks for the live, bro. Good stuff. Wishing you a speedy and stress-free move into your new place. Appreciate that. I'm excited to move, and it should be a fun time. But yeah, guys, we've been going for 2.5 hours. I just wanted to leave you with a thought. I don't know what the thought is, but I'm just going to talk to you guys and see what happens. A lot of times, we just feel like we should be doing more. And I was really, really caught up in this for the first 2 years of this business. And especially when I introduced social media, I always thought, man, there's just so much I need to get done. If I can just put out more videos and put out more listings and put out more items and buy more profitable items. And oh man, I have 20 minutes. I'm just going to do some more research on YouTube or more research in eBay. Don't do that, guys. Be ambitious and do everything you need to do to make a ton of money, but enjoy your free time with your family members and with your loved ones. And if you love golfing, go golfing. If you love hiking, go hiking. If you love reading, read. Like, I don't regret working as hard as I did for those first 2 years, but I do wish that I would have spent more time watching basketball, improving my relationship with my wife, and going golfing, talking with my family members. So give yourself some grace. Go a little bit slower than you think you should, but also go a little bit faster than you think you should. I know I just contradicted myself, but I think you guys know what I mean. Work hard, play hard. Love you guys. I'll see you guys later. You guys.